Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, the one and only Hosting Cruz, bringing you another exciting edition of boxing. Don't forget to hit and to like, subscribe to my channel. It's always greatly appreciated. Stay tuned. Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Hosting Cruz, and Brian Norman Jr. is still the WBO Junior Welterweight Champion of the world, improving his record to 28-0, 22 big wins by knockout. Big wins by knockout, literally. I'm going to get into that knockout in a second as he defeated Jin Sasaki out of Japan, in Japan, which is nothing easy to do, to go to Japan, take that trip, fight over there, and come back with a victory. Especially by decision. But this was not a decision. This was a vicious, sensational knockout of the year that was on display. So far is the knockout of the year. I'm going to get into that in a second. So let's get into the fight, ladies and gentlemen. Both guys came in with hard-hitting records. 27-0, 21 knockout for Brian Norman Jr. at the time of as he entered the ring, and Jin Sasaki entered the ring with a 19-1 and 1, which is a draw. 17 big wins by knockout. On paper, this fight was labeled to be a fistic firefight, a fight of the year contender, due to both guys' styles. Both fighters, they did not give us the great fight that we anticipated, but in moments and spots, both guys were going at it. Jin Sasaki attacking the body with left hooks, ripping his right hooks, left hooks, cranking it up upstairs, and just at times taking it to Brian Norman Jr. Brian Norman Jr. using the jab, being patient, relaxed. Brian Norman Jr.'s performance over Jin Sasaki was it was just pure, majority of the fight was just pure talent. Brian Norman Jr. displayed he was relaxed. He was patient. He placed his punches when they needed to be placed, which is to the body, the left hook upstairs, the jab, the straight right hand, which Sasaki ate repeatedly throughout the fight, even the left hooks, a lot of left hooks. And Brian Norman Jr., man, he was just not fazed by anything that Jin Sasaki was throwing at him. Like I said, he put on a tremendous performance, basically dominant performance. I don't think I could have given Sasaki any round. Honestly, I think Norman controlled the fight, majority throughout the fight. He landed the harder shots. He was very relaxed, composed, and just taking his time, landing his shots, pressing forward, getting the better of the exchanges at times. And next thing you know, boom! Brian Norman Jr. lands a sensational left hook. Down goes Jin Sasaki, flat on his back, head bounces off the canvas. And Brian Norman Jr. turns in a one-punch knockout of the year performance. We don't see KOs like that too often. When you see KOs like that, you think of when Oscar Valdez landed a big shot on Burchout, goes down face first. Sergio Martinez blasts Paul Williams with a straight left hand to the chin. Down he goes face first. Juan Manuel Marquez knocking out Manny Pacquiao in their fourth fight, face first. This time was back first. And Norman Jr., man, he is a scary man. He's a very bad man at welterweight. He can box, he can punch, he can dog it out, whatever you want. There was no parts in the fight where Norman was like, to me, everything was going his way, the way he wanted to, perform excellently. There was no signs of things getting out of hand for him. It was not a tough fight for him, honestly. Yes, he got hit. It's boxing. You're going to get hit. He fought a very aggressive fighter. And also, Brian Newman Jr. is not a defensive fighter. So guess what's going to happen? Both guys are going to clash and land shots in each other. But the shots that Jin Sasaki was throwing to Brian Newman Jr. throughout the fight didn't really faze him. Brian Newman Jr. just kept composed, kept pressing forward, shooting his jab, shooting his left hooks, the right hand, and boom, he got the knockout eventually in the 5th round. And he beat a really good fighter. Jin Sasaki there was a lot of hype going into the fight that Jin Sasaki may be the next welterweight champion for the first time in decades. First welterweight champion out of Japan in decades, because Sasaki had the power, he had the aggressiveness, the durability to get the job done, and the talent, but Brian Newman Jr. was just a better man, and he ended those plans in brutal fashion. Jin Sasaki came into this fight ranked number 6 in all of Japan. That's very impressive, because Japan has a load of talent. So to be ranked number 6 in all of Japan in boxing, that's impressive. And what's even more impressive is for Brian Newman Jr. to go in there and did what he did to Jin Sasaki, knocking him out, spark out. They needed a stretcher for Jin Sasaki. They brought in a stretcher. Brian Newman Jr. celebrating. Then it was like a moment of silence. Here comes Brian Newman Jr. going down on his knees, like a prayer, like what they do in Japan, the samurais. A sign of respect. Hope he's okay. And both guys went in there as warriors. And you always want, when it's all said and done, you hope that your opponent is okay, and of course you're even more yourself. So, well, this is my understanding. Jin Sasaki's okay. This was Brian Newman Jr.'s 2nd title defense of the WBO welterweight title. Yeah, so that was a very impressive performance, very impressive victory. Retains his title, 5th round knockout of the year, over Jin Sasaki, who's a good fighter, who will be back, and who has potential to be a world champion. This is not the end for Mr. Sasaki. Brian Newman Jr., ladies and gentlemen, is one of the best fighters in boxing today. He displayed it. He displayed his medal against Santillan. Beat a good Puerto Rican fighter in Derek Cuevas in 2 rounds. That was I didn't expect that. That was quick work. And then I was expecting a fight of the year with both guys nip and tucking, having a hard fight, very hard fight. And Brian Newman Jr. basically dominated the fight and turned the lights out on Jin Sasaki. Ended the celebrations in Japan. But yeah, very impressive performance in victory. Congratulations to Brian Newman Jr. 28-0 now, 22 knockouts. He is something to watch. He's very fun to watch, entertaining. He's a special fighter in my book, and I'm looking forward to what's next. Let me know what you guys think about his performance in the comment section below. If you saw the fight, let me know what you guys think about the fight. What do you guys think about the performance? And who do you want to see Brian Newman Jr. defend his welterweight title against or fight next? Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Austin Cruz. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. It is always a pleasure to talk to you guys about boxing. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.